So I'm drinking actually one of my favorite beers ever. This is by Florida Avenue Brewing. They're here out of Tampa, and this is called Luminescence. It's a hazy IPA. It is my absolute favorite hazy. I have top four that like rotate each other. Depends on my mood, but this one I really love. 7% ABV. I don't know the IBUs on this one, but it is incredibly good. It's very juicy. This brewery is just really cool. They make a crap ton. And so I love a lot of their beers. It's not just this one. So that's on my lineup. And then I have a Shells for later because, of course, I had to have a Minnesota beer. And Shells sent me an amazing package. I have not tried this one. Maybe you guys have. It's called Fresh Prince IPA.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I love the can.
I don't think I've had this one. So I'm excited. They sent me a whole nice package. But yeah, I love Ben Paddle too. I love and Surly Brewing, my favorite. Like I just love so many Minnesota beers, but I can't get very many of them down here. So it's kind of, they have to send them for me to drink them.
There you go. Like how Minnesota does hockey, they do craft beer incredibly as well. Hoppy, what do you have on tap?
So I kind of spun the other direction and went with kind of playing off of the interview we dropped on Monday for everyone with Joe Smith, kind of doing the preview of how to enjoy Tampa with hockey.
Nice.
We've got the High Alive from Cigar City. Yeah. Had to go that route. Very popular brewery and beer. Like this is the only one that I know you can pretty much get across the country.
Yeah.
It's not my style personally. Like I definitely like it. It's a good beer, but I'm more like the hazy New England IPA where this is a little bit more like kind of got the malty characteristic to it, but it's too overpowering, right? I like it. But Allie, I mean, you talk a little bit here just about Cigar City Brewing.
Cigar City Brewing, they have been around for a very long time here. They were actually bought out. They're not AB owned. They were bought out in 2016, I think, by Oscar Blues, and then they sold on to someone else. But I will say, I heard from a little bird, I won't give the details on that, they have their hands in a lot of the craft brewery scene here in Tampa. So you still get a lot of that old school, like Cigar City vibe that people loved before they were bought out, which their stuff is still great. I mean, everything. High Life is on every tap here. That's just to me like a very traditional IPA, but you're right. Very malty, very orangey. It's just a little bit different. It's definitely not a New England or hazy. But Cigar City has a huge presence here, and they are very well respected, even despite, not being technically craft anymore, I should say. But they are, they make great. They make a High Low, which is a session IPA, which I actually like better. You might like that. It's a little lighter. And that one's really, really good too. They make a lot of good stuff. Florida Man, they make one called Florida Man that is.
I'm excited for that one.
That's a double IPA. That is so good, and it drinks so easy. Like it's really good.
And the name is just too good. We actually our only tie to Florida here is the maniac Brandon Duham, and we didn't last very long because we just got sidetracked. But for a while, we tried to come up with a new Florida Man story every week that could reasonably be Brandon Duham. So,
yeah, the Florida Man stuff. Oh, it's crazy. Like, it's funny. It's more of the panhandle. I've never ran into a true Florida Man here in Tampa. But I will say, you go up to the panhandle, you're gonna meet some Florida men. It's definitely a different vibe up there. In Tampa, we're more metro cool,
There you go. So I'm drinking a Drecker Brewing lactose double IPA, and I wanted to bring a Drecker on the show because the only other Minnesota beer review on your beer channel, which we'll get into here in a moment, Allie, was on Drecker. I mentioned Bent Paddle is where I first saw your content, and I know Drecker's not in Minnesota, but it's lumped into the Minnesota beer scene here. This one's called Thor is My Co-Pilot, lactose double IPA. It's super fruity, super juicy. You would not guess it's a double IPA. You'd not guess that it's pushing 9% because of how easy this thing drinks. But it is a juice bomb. It is thick. I'm more of a West Coast IPA guy. I like the pininess to it. That's not to say I don't enjoy a juice bomb as well. I'm just a little less picky than my co-host here. But but no, this is awesome. So cheers all around, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for jumping on again, Allie. And again, this is just so cool that you're as much, maybe even more of a craft beer junkie than we are.
Yeah. So good. Drecker makes one called Brains. And that was the first, I think, negative review I did. And I felt bad. But I could not get past the fact that they made it literally the color of freaking brains. I was like, why would you do that? I'm like, stop it. I'm like, now I can't freaking drink this because all I'm thinking about is brains. So I remember doing that review and I'm like, look, I'm keeping my channel honest, but I wish I could go back now, like not just maybe close my eyes, because I bet you the flavor was amazing, because it was like blackberry.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a sour, but yeah, it's a popular one by Drecker.
So what was the brains that we had recently, Hoppy? It was really good, but like you can't even really call it a sour or a beer. It's its own thing. Like it is alcohol in a smoothie.
Yeah.
It was monkey tail because it was like the chocolate banana peanut butter or something. And oh my God.
It was so good.
Wow. Yeah. That's, see, y'all got the cold weather for that. I feel like I can't have those thick ones down here in the heat.
That is
honest.
True.
That makes sense. That makes sense. in the last days of fall, I think it came out here when it started to get a little crisp and cool. So it kind of fit, but it literally tasted like a milkshake. Just it had alcohol in it. So yeah, Drecker does things a little different.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's like,
we give him props.
That's awesome. I love that. I love when breweries stretch the limits. And sometimes you try and you're like, that didn't really work for me, but it's cool, right? Like that's the fun thing about craft beer, is getting to try something that someone else hasn't done, you know? And so that's the exciting part, I think.
Yes, it's very exciting that it can literally expire and like poisonous expire, not just beer expire on the shelf. But shout out to Drecker.